All right. Here we are, guys. It's Ted Bogert back on the TED Show. I'm so excited to have this beautiful human being on the show with me. Veronica Figueroa is back on the TED Show. We're going to talk all things Clubhouse, kind of give you some insights. You guys have heard about it. I know I have. I just keep accepting things. I haven't utilized it yet. There's so much good that can be done with it. And so we're going to learn a little bit of it from the one and only Veronica Figueroa. How are you?
I'm so good, my friend. How are you?
I am so good. I'm so happy to see that glowing face. I feel like I haven't seen you in 1,000 years.
Oh, we got to change that.
We got to change that. We got to change that. You have just been killing it and kicking it with EXP and all of the great stuff you're doing and speaking. So big kudos to you. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you for all the years, all the support, everything that you've done for the industry. You inspire me. So,
you inspire me too.
This is a love fest.
It's a love fest. I knew it would be. I really do miss seeing you. I feel like because we haven't had a lot of giant events. It's been, we haven't really gotten to see each other like we normally would already by March. I'm hoping that changes soon. All right, let's take a deep dive into Clubhouse. But before we do, for the people who may not know you, who are on Mars, will you tell them a little bit about Veronica Figueroa?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Veronica Figueroa. I run the Figueroa team out of Orlando, Florida. I've been doing real estate, for a while now. I was just talking about that out loud. Going on my 17th year. And, I run an amazing team that I'm so proud of. And this year, my team in 2020, I always give thanks to the past, the present, and the future people who are part of it. Collectively, we sold a little over 790 homes last year. And
unbelievable.
It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. I consider them my family, my community, my tribe. We're really, really, I would say, a heavy tech, a heavy forward-thinking team. We love all things innovation. We love, to just dissect the real estate industry, where it's going, but always keeping consumer-centric, staying consumer-centric. And real estate is what we do. We love, and that's why we're here today, hopefully to help you guys realize how you also could leverage Clubhouse for your business and getting to know people. But yeah, I've had the pleasure of, selling real estate in Orlando for a while now. And Ted, I've known you for probably over a decade now.
A long time. We were babies then.
Yeah. And I don't know what else. I work with my husband. I have 5 beautiful children. I now have a granddaughter, Camila.
And so young to have a grandbaby.
Yeah, I have a grandbaby.
Amazing. What did she call you?
Well, she's only like a month.
She's gonna call you.
She's gonna call me. So my name is gonna be Kiki. I'm Kiki. Actually, there's a reason that name is the name that my grandchildren will call me. My dad, he's the only one who calls me that. He's the only one I answer to that. And I just figured it would be something that I would pass on to my grandchildren. My childhood nickname that only my father would call me will also be the name that my grandchildren will call me.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's funny because I didn't want to be grandpa, right? You don't want to be grandpa. You want to have something. I went with Poppy. They spell it Poppy, but I'm like, I'm younger. Hey, Poppy. That's
Poppy.
My daughter hates me for that, by the way.
I love it.
Tell us about the real estate. You've got your finger on the pulse there. So can you give us a quick little overview of what you're seeing? Because I think a lot of people like to know. You're in it. You speak about it. You travel. You do a lot in the industry, and you have really been on the cutting edge. So what are you seeing for 2021? What's your thought process on the market?
I think that our industry continues to show that it is super resilient. Real estate agents are needed more than ever. The good real estate agents are needed more than ever. What is a good real estate agent? An agent that I believe can adapt, and always making sure that they're keeping the consumer first, consumers' interests first, those agents will always have a place in real estate. Your brand is more important than ever. You, the agent, are the brand. And when I say brand, it's more than a logo. Guys, it's what your reputation is known for. Are you someone that is entrenched in the community? People trust you. They know you have resources. They know that they can go to you to help them navigate through this challenging industry, challenging market. It's getting more and more competitive, but I think the level of industry professionalization is really exciting to watch. You know, this was an industry that before it was easy to just trip over opportunities. And now I think that the way our industry is truly sharpening its skills, you know, in every aspect of technology, social media, you know, how you're running your business, efficiencies, consumers want so much more. It's really exciting to see agents really step up as not just realtors, but as real estate professionals that are leading the industry forward. I'm excited about the professionalization of our industry. I really, really am. So I think that all of you agents out there who are just doing great business, you are here to stay. You're going to learn things along the way. We're going to continue to learn things and, you know, be challenged to learn and push the industry forward. But you are here to stay because you continue to level up.
Amen. All right, let's talk about Clubhouse. So when I heard about it, you were one of the first people I think I remember early adapting, or at least it felt like you did. And it blew up, and it's such a unique platform. It's not like your usual social media platform where everything's a post or a picture. There's actual interaction and voices, and there's verbal, there's communication. And I thought, okay, how does this work in a day and age of where we've all gone to instant messages, instant gratification, not really speaking to each other, just doing everything via text and email? But people like you and so many others have embraced it and brought it into your business model, brought it in, figured out how to utilize it for how it works best for you. So give us a little bit of information on it, because I had a lot of people before we went live go, thank God somebody's going to talk about Clubhouse, because I don't get it.
You know, it's funny. You said I was an early adopter. I felt like I was a late adopter. But when Clubhouse obviously kicked off, it was a lot of IT and tech professionals really embracing it, music industry. Well, you know, you leave it to a bunch of realtors, we'll make everything, like we'll blow everything up, right? I think when I started hearing about it, I kind of avoided it for a few days. I got an invitation. It was sometime in December, and I was like, I do not have time for another social media platform. It's noise. I can't deal with it. I'm busy. I need to keep my head down. But then, you know, someone that I have a lot of respect for said, you need to get on Clubhouse. Like, seriously, Veronica, you need to get on Clubhouse. And I'm like, what is up with this Clubhouse? So I accepted the invite, and immediately I was hooked. I was like, whoa, this is crazy.
What was it about it that hooked you? What was it? Was it because people were actually having real conversations, or was it just the ease of use? What was it that got you right away?
You know, the simplicity was mind-boggling. And then it was like the content, the people, being able to have conversations with people and knowing that there's no fluff here. You can't fake, you know, you can't fake this.
That's
you
true.
Really have to provide massive value for the rooms to keep going. And, you know, I also love the fact that it was invitation only, you know, kind of created that FOMO. By the way, I do have about 7 invites. So if anybody needs one, drop a comment and we'll make sure that we send you, because it is still invitation only. If not, if everyone's already on it, great. But if you're not, I'd be happy to share an invite.
People are looking for those. We raffled one off the other day.
Yeah, so I have about 7, and you know, it's interesting because the more rooms you create, the more times you engage. If you're a moderator, if you start a club, you earn more invites, right? You're able to give more invites to people that you feel are going to bring value to the community. So that was interesting to me as well. And I was just consumed. I mean, the rooms were so good. I mean, I could hop on it in a room, and I was next to Grant Cardone at one moment. I was, you know, in rooms with, people of different industries, Damon from Shark Tank, just so many amazing people that I was like, there's no other platform that I could just literally be on the same, stage with someone that is this mega celebrity and I could ask them a question.
Is that how it works? Is it, so you go into a room, give me really basics, right? I haven't entered a room yet. So
we're going to do this. After this, you and I are going to go into Clubhouse. Okay. We're going to go into Clubhouse.
Full disclosure, I have the account. I think I've followed everybody who says to follow, and I have done nothing with it. So my understanding is there's a room, and usually the room has a topic. There's something you're set to discuss, or at least a theme of it. Is that how it works? And then you get to choose the room that you want to go in, or do you have to be invited to the room?
You can, well, sometimes there's going to be private rooms that you need an invite to. And then there's obviously public rooms. If you are in the room, if you are not a moderator, you want to raise your hand to ask a question to the moderators. Now, this has become like, a pretty big deal. If you're a moderator, people are getting, a little bit of Clubhouse clout, should I say, in the big rooms. So the Clubhouse clout, when you're invited up to speak, sometimes like if you're an influencer, people are going to invite you to speak and give you the mic or say, I've got Ted Boger in the room. Like, he's amazing, guys. If you don't know him, go follow Ted. Ted is amazing. He runs a show called The Ted Show that has thousands and thousands of viewers. He's a big influencer, right? That you're someone that someone would want to bring up to the stage and create that influence and the authority that you have. And most likely you'll be promoted to moderator. And when you're a moderator, you'll start seeing really quickly that people will start following you. And what's beautiful about, Clubhouse, it doesn't have the DM or the instant message, so you're pushing these people to your IG account, you're pushing them to your Twitter account, they're able to follow you and engage with you. So it's really helping your other social media platforms grow. And people go out there and check you out. Like it has the ability to really grow your influence to an audience or a market that you never were in front of, just by being in the right room with the right people who will either give you the role of a moderator, or you asked a really great question or drop some really good nuggets that people will say. And I've experienced this myself, Ted. I've had people that I'm talking to, again, from Silicon Valley to, Houston, Texas, all over the nation, that because we spoke on Clubhouse, we've made a connection. I've got a meeting next Friday with someone that, we're potentially looking how we could do business together. I was able to, meet the CEO of a really big startup tech company that has some massive funding behind it, just because, she wanted the perspective of a really successful top agent in Florida to compare with why people are moving to Texas, Nevada, or Florida. And from there, another relationship was formed for Bitcoin. So like the opportunities that are there are priceless. You just have to manage it like anything else. But it's one of the things that I tell people, and, stop waiting to get ready, right? Just do it.
Oh my God, yes.
Get in there. And even if you're just a fly on the wall, just listening and observing, there's certain things, there's some rules to the game. So obviously, if you're a moderator, you want to reset the room because there's always people coming in. Don't take offense if people come into your room and then leave to another room. There's a lot of rooms happening at the same time, a lot of great conversations. People are constantly pinging people to say, hey, you should be in this room. This is a room you should be in.
Yes, I get that a lot.
Yeah. So if you get pinged into a room, that means someone feels that the content is, valuable. And be open-minded to be accepting those invitations. Don't think people are trying to solicit you. They maybe think that you could be a great contributor, or maybe they feel that you should listen to this because it's bringing value to them. So the first few days, I was just there listening. And, I have a really good friend that I've known in the industry for a while, and he's pretty popular. Is from California. He actually worked closely with Kobe Bryant, and, it's a pretty big deal. And he became like this Clubhouse sensation influencer. And, you know, every once in a while he'd ping me and things. I'm like, why is he pinging me in here? You know, like I'm still trying to figure this out. On the early game, I realized I was like, wow, he's like Clubhouse royalty. And, you know, like next thing you know, I've got 3,000 plus followers as a result to just being in the same rooms with people. And I could probably have more, Ted. And I say that humbly, but the first 2 weeks I was in it like nonstop. Then I realized, okay, I got to pace myself just like anything else. I have to make sure that the time I'm, you know, the time that I'm spending on Clubhouse is intentional. I know some friends of mine who live on Clubhouse. I personally, my workload does not allow me to be on Clubhouse, you know, 8 hours a day, but I'm pacing myself. Maybe I'll do one or two visits, maybe, I don't know, a week, just to kind of balance it out. And
how do you pick a topic?
I'm sorry?
How do you pick a room? We had that question. So how do you decide, like, when you go in there, do you see a list of different topics on rooms, or how does it work when you're in there and you're like, all right, I want to explore, I want to participate?
Absolutely. So there's so many upcoming events that are recommended for you based on, you know, again, who you follow, your interests. Then there's others that you're invited to. And then there's the rooms that you start. So I would just say a great little way to, you know, play around with Clubhouse is the people you follow. So start off by following people that you maybe look up to, or people that you have respect for, or whoever invited you, it'll show who they're following, right? So start off by following them. There's obviously a sidebar where you could go in and see what rooms those people are currently in, if they're active. So if I see someone that I have a lot of respect for, or I admire, or is my people, then I want to see who they're listening to or what rooms they're in. Also, you'll be invited to certain clubs, right? And you could start your own club. So, you know, there's a huge list for, you know, waiting list for clubs, but get in there. Don't wait to be, again, ready to get ready. Just do it. Start your club. It could be the dog lover club. It could be the host your own podcast club. There's so many things that you could start a club with. It doesn't have to be real estate related. It could be marketing related. And you could search other clubs, and then also you can invite people to clubs. So just make sure you get in there. The beauty of Clubhouse is you can't break any buttons. You can't do anything. If you're just clicking around, you're not going to break anything. Right. Just don't make the same mistake I made. Let me tell you what my first mistake was. My first mistake was when I got my invites that I can give out, I didn't realize, you know, that they were limited invites. So I was just like, oh, the first number that comes up recommended based on Clubhouse, they're pulling from your phone. So it pulled a phone number that's not a cell phone number that I wanted to send it to. I think at that time it was, so we use Call Action on my team, and it was one of our backup lines. So I invited like a cyberspace number, and I was like, you can't get that invite back, you know, so make sure that it's a person, it's their cell phone number that you're inviting, because that invite will go into cyberspace and it will be gone forever. You can't get it back. But then I realized, you know, I quickly realized, and, you know, I made sure that the invites that I gave away were for people that I really felt were going to contribute and that they were going to participate in it. And you asked me earlier, how do you pick a topic? Well, how do you pick it? What are you passionate about? You know, for example, I'm at EXP, right? And me and a bunch of our leaders who are in the diversity and inclusion program, we are hosting a once a week diversity and inclusion program. And we want to meet with other people who are passionate about diversity and inclusion. We want to meet with other people who are passionate about women in leadership, Latinos in leadership, diversity in leadership. So we're talking about topics that are important in business, and it's easy for us to talk about it because it's important to us. Yeah. Right. It's easy for us to talk about. For me, I go into rooms with some of my colleagues across the country on real estate teams and the future of real estate teams because I'm passionate about it. So it's easy for me to discuss something I'm passionate about. I would say be authentic, because that's the one thing that you could really, really pick up in Clubhouse very easily is BS or not. Like, you're in there just trying to get followers, and you're in there just trying to, you know, come up, you know, from a place of contribution. But what I love is the authenticity in the questions. Like, there are people that I know are high D personalities, super, super driven people. Their patience in the rooms and really listening is something that I've noticed. I'm so like impressed by the amount of people who are just plugged in and ready to learn from others. What I love about it is you can get so much out of Clubhouse by not being on the stage. You can get
Right.
so much out of Clubhouse by not being a moderator. There's some people who are moderating themselves to death. I get it, love it. I know it gives you popularity, but like, I have gotten so much value, and I have an actual like a dedicated notes section of the content I have learned just from Clubhouse.
Wow.
Because I reference it. I want to let the person know. And I get a lot of messages also from people who hit me up like on IG, and they're like, hey, I heard you on Clubhouse. I learned more from you in 5 minutes than I did from my, brokerage or this or that. And, you just build that connection with people. But
and you need to go in. We had a question. Did you need to go in? When you go in, can you observe in the beginning? Do you have to immediately partake? Like, people are a little shy when they start stuff. So can you go in and be an observer?
You can stay an observer as long as you want.
Okay,
you can stay an observer. You can never moderate. But I would say if you have something important that you want to share with the world, your voice is needed. Your passion is needed. Get out there and start a room one day just to have fun with it. You never know who you're going to meet and who's equally passionate. But if you want to stay an observer and just soak up content and knowledge, absolutely. But also I would say, do not be afraid to raise your hand and ask a question. I have seen so many amazing relationships be formed just by someone being humble enough and say, hey, I'm just grateful for you guys putting this room together. And, my question is this. Now, there's some things that you want to know. Don't ramble. Get in there, ask your question, because some of these rooms have thousands of people in the room.
Yeah.
Some of these rooms have hundreds of people in the room. Some are smaller. But when you raise your hand, is my question is this, or my question is for Ted, right? Ted, I'm really impressed with what you're doing. How did you get started? Like, what is the number one thing that you would recommend I do to start my StreamYard, right? Where could I get some logo graphics for my StreamYard? I don't know. Ted might tell you Fiverr. I don't know if you're on a budget, but make it concise and precise, because there's so many people who want to get on the stage and ask questions. If you're bringing value, they may ask you to stay and be a moderator. And, it's all about consuming valuable content. That's what I'm finding that Clubhouse is about. I have seen some rooms where it just seems like it's a popularity contest. That's, like anything, but
it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I feel like it's an untapped way to build your business in an easy way. It's also a great way you can actually listen to people, which we've all need work on, right? Like, so listening is a big, giant skill. And when you're in those rooms, because it's all verbal, you're not seeing somebody, you have to actually hear what they're saying. There's no teleprompter telling you what everybody's saying. You actually have to pay attention and listen. And I love that, because I think we have gotten away from that in general. And I love the training of it. Now, you've known me for a long time. The phone and just verbal all by itself is a challenge for me. So I am excited to break through that little wall barrier that I have about doing things verbally, like podcasty, like Clubhouse. So I'm excited.
Well, let me give you an idea, right? You know me, I always like to kind of like push the status quo or just do things differently. And, I'm no genius. It's just, all right, let's try this. You could run the TED Show live right now while also running a Clubhouse room and having your guests on Clubhouse. They're muted. You make them a moderator. People are going to hear you. This is one platform, but there's a whole nother platform, right? That there's people who don't know you or maybe haven't had a chance to do this. And I ran my Fire Fridays at the same time as Clubhouse.
Oh, you did? How'd that go?
It went great. And, you could schedule it out, Ted, and you can do the TED Show, which people are going to join because of what your topic is. And you can have someone working on the back end, invite them to the TED Show to watch via Facebook, right? Connect with you there. But also you could be running it simultaneously on Clubhouse where it's audio only. So think
cool.
about the lives that you can touch, which you've already done a great job by expanding your reach. And that's what Clubhouse can do for you. So I would love to see the TED Show with its inception on Clubhouse by testing this. It's easy. I did it, and next thing you know, we've got people now following Fire Friday a lot more and connecting with other people. And what we did is after the show, we stayed on Clubhouse to answer people's questions who wanted to ask deeper questions, wanted to come up, and next thing you know, relationships were formed, and you've maximized this content.
That's so smart. I didn't know I could do that. I was trying to figure out how to incorporate the whole thought process of the show in there, but that's actually really cool. I like any time that you can reach. I mean, the whole goal of my show is to get my guests' content out there to whomever I can get them, so it helps them in some way, shape, or form. So if I can get them in front of more people, that is amazing. I love that. So I will absolutely do that. I will have to have you on, or whatever we say in Clubhouse life.
Let me get some 101 tips. So the 101, when you join, you're going to have a little celebration confetti banner. So everyone's going to know that you're new to Clubhouse. You need about a week for that to fall off and just participate and engage in rooms. You definitely want to make sure that you have a strong bio. Your bio, you don't want it to be boring. Chop it up. If you need a sample, feel free to follow me on Clubhouse and you can see how I did it. I don't think I have the best, but hey, it's got me traction. Make sure you're very, very intentional with your first 3 lines as to what you want to be known for, what your brand is, who you are. Then you can do a little bit more deeper. Make sure you add your social profiles on their Twitter and IG so that people can follow you, because again, there's no way to DM you. I don't know if they changed that because I haven't gone on the town hall. Every Sunday, the founders and the leaders and the engineers and the leadership team of Clubhouse do a Clubhouse town hall to continue to give people information on how the platform continues to evolve. So you can become an expert on Clubhouse simply by showing up every Sunday to the Clubhouse town hall, which is at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I believe it's, I think that might be 9 o'clock Pacific or 10 o'clock. But every Sunday, and it's a really, really great town hall if you're wanting to, learn more about Clubhouse and where it's going, how it's evolving. If you're moderating a room, you want to make sure that you reset the room. So people say, let's, reset the room. We've got Ted on here. So that's for anyone new who's been coming in. You'll hear PTR, pull to refresh, which, on your phone, you want to make sure you pull down to refresh and you'll see all the new moderators. You can see all the new people in the room. So that's really, really important that you kind of get familiar with the lingo. So this way you, as you're a newbie, you can kind of be like, oh, I get what they mean when they say we're going to PTR, we're going to pull to refresh to give everyone an opportunity. And then you're going to hear people interrupt the room to just say, hey, guys, make sure you follow the moderators and get to know them, reach out to them. If you love what they said, show them some love, follow them, give them a like, and shoot them a message on DM. So those are just kind of like the 101 basics that I would say. Make sure you mute yourself if you are a moderator or speaker, because if not, the moderators now can mute you, but it's always just a little professional courtesy to do so. That's pretty much
Amazing.
101.
I'm excited to try it, so I will commit to that because I want to see how it works. I probably want to plan a teeny tiny bit. But I think that there is so much potential there. It's a different kind of platform to build your business. And I'm a big believer in utilizing as many platforms as possible if it makes sense from an ROI perspective.
I'll tell you what the ROI there is. It's relationships. Yep. You are going to form relationships with people that are outside of your local market that you probably would have connected with. And I think that there will be tremendous value for you, for someone like you, who's a huge contributor. And like you said, you like to shine the light on your guest, right? So imagine the power of you being able to have one more person that you can impact. Agreed. Who can hear the story of these amazing, influencers that you bring onto this show and how their audience can grow, or the relationships that can be formed and the opportunities that can be formed. It's really massive. So you would be blessing people by taking your show to Clubhouse. So I'm going to challenge you to go ahead and do it, Ted. And
I'm going to do it because of you. Well, because I want to, but because of the encouragement. I understand better now. Honest to God, I came into this. I had no idea about 90% of the things you said. I didn't do my research. I didn't do it on purpose, but I really wanted to hear it from someone who's in it so that I could figure out how to maneuver best through it. But wow, the opportunities are huge. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen relationships. I've seen jobs being offered on the stage. I've seen, our CEO, Glenn Sanford, and Grant Cardone met on Clubhouse, and now, Grant Cardone's wife is joining. And, it's not even about that, but it's just like you're hearing people like just say, oh, dude, I'm really impressed with how you're running your business. Tell me more. Like these conversations are right there. It's like a radio talk show live. You get to engage / podcast and, people saying, hey, I'm looking for this type of talent. So they're going, if I'm looking for a video production person, guess what room I'm going into? The video production room. Exactly. If I'm looking to launch my podcast, guess what room I'm going into? The podcast room, right? Correct. And opportunities right then and there. It's never, ever been seen at this capacity.
I absolutely love it. And I love that you embraced it. And I love that you came on the show and spent way more than the 30 minutes that we talked about. But I appreciate you taking time to talk about it because I think people are really intrigued by it. And it's a really cool, it's not new, but it's kind of old and new way to interact and exchange ideas and to really build your business in a world where we're all on text messages and Facebook Messenger all the time. All right. What's the best way for them to reach you, Miss Veronica Figueroa?
VeronicaInspires.com. You can text me, you can email me, you can hop on my calendar, you can shoot me a message on social media right from that very link.
Fantastic. Thank you for taking time out. That was so good. I got a lot out of it, so I'm very thankful. I love you to pieces. You're amazing. Thank you for all you do for me and for our world. Veronica Figueroa, FigueroaTeam.com. Clubhouse 101, guys. You should replay this a whole bunch of times. Let's all challenge each other to get on there and utilize it the way it's supposed to. All right.
Yeah. If you need any invites, I've got plenty.
Thank you, Veronica. All right, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Reach out to Veronica. She's just as easy to talk to in person as she is right here on the screen. I promise. All right, guys. We'll see you.